The United States lost a hydrogen bomb off the coast of Georgia in 1958 and never found it again. It is roughly 100 times more powerful than the bomb that destroyed Nagasaki, but is now sitting in 40 feet of water, 12 miles from a city of 150,000 people. It has been there for 68 years, and the official government position is that nobody should ever try to find it. Now, if you are watching this, you probably already know the basic story. A B-47 had a mid-air collision, the pilot dropped the bomb to land safely, and it was never recovered. What I want to know is why she is still missing. Because this is not a battleship 3 miles down in the Atlantic. It is a hydrogen bomb in 40 feet of water off a beach resort. The answer involves a pilot's best guess in the dark, the strange fact that shallow water is harder to search than deep water, and 400 pounds of conventional explosives that the United States government has officially decided are safer left exactly where they are. The bomb was a Mark 15, serial number 47782. It was the first relatively lightweight hydrogen bomb the United States ever built, which is a strange phrase given that the Mark 15 weighed 7,600 pounds and was about 12 feet long. Each warhead had a yield of 1.69 megatons. For comparison, the bomb that destroyed Nagasaki was around 21 kilotons. That makes the Tybee bomb roughly 100 times more powerful. Between 1955 and 1957, the United States built 1,200 of them. On the night of February 4th, 1958, Major Howard Richardson took off from Homestead Air Force Base in a B-47 Stratojet on a simulated combat mission codenamed Operation Southern Belle. In the bomb bay was the Mark 15. Carrying live nuclear weapons on training flights was not unusual in 1958. Strategic Air Command's doctrine was that bombers had to be ready at all times, which meant flying with real weapons even on exercises. Pilots watched their colleagues taxi out with live thermonuclear bombs in the bomb bay and thought nothing of it. That was just how it worked. At 33 minutes past midnight on February 5th, at 35,000 feet over Georgia, an F-86 Sabre interceptor on a separate training exercise flew directly into the right wing of Richardson's B-47. The F-86 lost both wings instantly. Its pilot ejected and survived. Richardson's bomber plummeted 18,000 feet before he wrestled it back under control. To put that in perspective, that is a fall of roughly 3.5 miles in seconds. The right outboard engine was hanging at a 45-degree angle. His main spar had snapped. He had a hydrogen bomb in the bomb bay and a plane that was barely flying. Richardson knew the runway at Hunter Air Force Base had an 18-inch concrete lip exposed at one end from repair work. If his damaged engine caught that lip on landing, the deceleration would tear the bomb shackle loose. He said later, and I am quoting him directly here, "If we hit it, that dog-oned weapon would be just like a bullet going through a rifle barrel." The barrel pointed at his cockpit. So he turned east over Wassaw Sound, descended to 7,200 feet, slowed to 200 knots, and ordered the bomb released. The crew saw no explosion in the dark below. The B-47 limped to Hunter and landed safely. It never flew again. The search began the next morning. Around 100 Navy personnel using handheld sonar, galvanic drag detectors and cable sweeps combed a 3-square-mile area of Wassaw Sound. Divers swept the bottom. They found several Civil War cannonballs still full of explosives. They did not find the bomb. On April 16, 1958, after 9 weeks of searching, the Air Force officially declared the Mark 15 irretrievably lost. So why has nobody found her since? There are several reasons, and they all compound each other. The first issue is that nobody knows exactly where she landed. Richardson and his radar navigator compared their independent notes of the drop coordinates afterwards, and their recollections did not match. The drop was made from a catastrophically damaged aircraft, in the dark, with the crew managing an emergency. Their search grid was based on dead reckoning. 3 square miles of murky tidal estuary in 1958 was not a solvable problem. The second issue is more counterintuitive. Shallow water is harder to search than deep water. The bomb was released from 7,200 feet at 230 miles per hour, and a 7,600-pound steel cylinder hitting water at that velocity does not come to rest on the seabed. It drives straight through soft silt and buries itself. A Department of Energy survey in 2001 estimated the bomb is now under 5 to 15 feet of silt, on top of 40 feet of water. The 1958 search equipment was designed to detect objects sitting on the bottom, not objects buried beneath it. The third issue is the strangest one. America's official position is that finding the bomb is more dangerous than leaving her where she is. A 2001 Air Force report concluded that no further search should be attempted, and the reason is that the Mark 15 contains 400 pounds of conventional high explosives. Those explosives have been sitting in unknown chemical condition for 68 years. Any significant disturbance during a recovery attempt could trigger them. That would not produce a nuclear detonation. The geometry required for nuclear yield was destroyed long ago by the impact and decades of corrosion. But a conventional explosion would scatter weapons-grade uranium across a protected coastal estuary that empties straight into the Atlantic. And then there is one more factor, and this is the bit that got me when I was researching this. Around 1960, 2 years after the bomb dropped, a local shrimper named Bubba Smith snagged something enormous in his trawl net just off the Tybee public fishing pier. He thought it was an old engine block. He dragged it several miles south, around the point, into the back river, and tried to winch it up onto his boat. His winch smoked. His outrigger buckled under the weight. So he hired a diver to go down and look. The diver came back up, spat out his mouthpiece and said, "It's a bomb." Bubba Smith left it exactly where the diver had found it, off an old Coast Guard station dock, and he told nobody for the next 46 years. He told the story on his deathbed around 2006. He said he did not want his granddaughter to die in a nuclear explosion. The last words he gave on the subject were, "Nobody gives a rip but me." If he was telling the truth, the bomb is not in the original 3 square mile search grid. The bomb is somewhere off a Coast Guard dock, in shallower water, where 30,000 people swim every summer. Nobody followed up. Nobody knows. The Tybee bomb is still missing because she was dropped in the dark from a damaged plane by a crew nobody could fault for losing track of her. By the time anyone went looking, she was buried under 15 feet of silt that 1958 sonar could not see through. Then she became too dangerous to dig up because the explosives meant to detonate her are now the explosives that would scatter her. And now there is a deathbed account that says the original search grid was looking in the wrong place anyway. A 7,600-pound hydrogen bomb, 100 times more powerful than the bomb that destroyed Nagasaki. 400 pounds of conventional explosives still inside her. Lost in 40 feet of water, 12 miles from a major American city. The Air Force searched for 9 weeks in 1958 and gave up. They have officially recommended that nobody ever try again. Wassaw Sound is open water. There is no exclusion zone. There are no warning buoys. And somewhere under the silt, she is still there. If you want another mystery exactly like this one, go and watch Why is the USS Hornet Still There next. It is on screen now. I will see you over there.